Hi everyone, this is going to be the first video of several that are going to just explain different mathematical concepts for a review for you. So the first we're going to do is this video is going to be about converting from metric system from one unit to another. So our first one is going to be 0.00078 kilometers to decimeters. And now I know it's decimeters because it's a lowercase d. So I know it's decimeters, so the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure to write my memory tool. King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk. So King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk. And I'm going to make that second d lowercase, that U came out ugly, sorry, to show that that is decimeters, that is the smaller unit. Now I put an arrow in the prefix that I'm starting from. So the prefix I'm starting from is K. So I want to put an arrow in the K. And I'm going to D, and I want to circle where I'm going. Okay. So I always put an arrow at my start prefix, so whatever letter's in front, that's my starting letter, and then the back letter is where I'm traveling to. And then I want to count how many spaces does it take to get from my start point to my end point. So I start at the arrow, and I count 1 space, 2 spaces, 3 spaces, 4 spaces. So I move 4 spaces and to the right, and I want to do the same thing on my decimal point. So I'm going to rewrite my number, 0.00078, okay, and I want to move it 4 spaces to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm moving the exact same number of spaces in the same direction. So that is 7.8. So 0.0078 kilometers equals 7.8 decimeters. And that's your final answer. So I could box it and go, that's it. There's my final answer. Second question I'm going to do is 450 centigrams. Centigrade's a word too, equals how many hectograms? I'll type it a little bit different so you can see the equals. Okay, so same thing. I want to write my memory tool. K, king, starting for kilo, Henry for hecta, D for deca, U for whatever unit it is, D for deci, C for centi, and M for milli. Okay, and I look at, let me put a little colors on it this time. So I want to put it, start at C, right, because that's where my, it doesn't want to make me color, there we go. So I want to start at C. So I'm going to put an arrow on the C. And I'm traveling this time to H. That's my prefix. So my starting is at C and ending at H. And I want to put a circle on the H because that's where I'm going. Okay, now I want to count how many spaces this is going to take me. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it took 4 spaces like last time, but now instead of going to the right, I'm going to the left this time. Okay, so let me write my number again. And I have the number 450. There is no decimal here, so if there's no decimal, where do we want to put it? We want to put it in the rear. Put it at the very back. And now remember, we want to move 4 spaces to the left. So move 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, make a new decimal. And now where that empty space is, where there's no number there, I want to put a 0. Okay, so 450 centigrams equals 0.0450 hectograms. Okay, and make sure always to put your unit. If you do not have unit, then your answer is not right. Okay, you always have to have a unit so we know what you're talking about. Okay, so there's your final answer. 450 centigrams equals 0.0450 hectograms. Okay, let's go to the next slide. This time we have 20.2 decimeters equals how many hectograms? I'm sorry, meters. I was looking at the wrong one. 20.2 decimeters equals how many meters? Okay, so same thing. Always write your memory tool first. King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk. Kilo, hecta, deca, unit, deci. Oops, that one was ugly, so I'm going to rewrite that one. Deci, centi, and milli. Okay. Change color. Okay, so my starting point here is at decagram, and I know it's decagram because it's got a capital D. So whatever my start point is, I want that to be my arrow. And now I want to circle my prefix for the second part, but there is no prefix here. It's empty. There's a prefix means it has to be in front, and there's nothing in front of that M. So if that means there's nothing in front, then that is a unit. Okay, if there's no prefix, so if there's just a G by itself, if it's just an L by itself, then that means it's the unit. Okay, and so I want to count how many spaces it takes to get from the D to the U. Well, we only need one single space. So one space to the right. So I'm going to take my number again, original number, 20.2. Okay, take your 20.2. We already have a decimal on this one. Okay, so 20.2, move one space to the right. Okay, so it's 202. So 20.2 decameters equals 202 meters. Okay, and that's my final answer. So I'm going to box it. And there's my answer. Make sure you have your units. Okay. And let's do one more. We have 56 centiliters. Let me change the color on that to black. Equals how many, or equals how many liters? Okay, 56 centiliters equals how many liters? Okay, so let's start by writing our memory tool. King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk. Okay, and now I want to look at what my units are on the prefix. I'm sorry, what my letters are for the prefix. So I have a C in front. Let me change the color on that. Okay, so I have a C in front there. So that's where I want to make my arrow. So I'm starting at C. Okay, and then where are we finishing? Oh, there's no letter again. So if there's no letter, that means it's in the units, just like on this one. This one didn't have a letter in front, didn't have a prefix. This one doesn't have a prefix in front. So if there's no prefix, it's still your unit. It doesn't matter if it's meters or if it's liters. That's the one that we're starting from. Or sorry, ending from on this time. Okay. So now we want to count how many spaces to get to the C to our new one, to the unit. That's 1, 2 spaces to the left. Okay, so now we want to do the same thing to our original number. So our original number was 56. Okay, it doesn't have any decimal, so if there's no decimal, place it in the rear. Okay, and then 1, 2 spaces to move over, new decimal place. Okay. So 56 centiliters equals 0.56 liters. Okay, and I'll do one more because I was thinking about something, so I'm going to do one more. So you get a bonus one. So we have 2 kilograms, equals how many milligrams? Okay, 2 kilograms equals how many milligrams? So the first thing I was going to do, write my memory tool. King Henry doesn't usually, oops, that one was ugly, usually drink chocolate milk. I'm seeming not to write the longer it goes. My writing's getting worse. Okay, so let's see where our prefix is to start. So our prefix to start in front of the G is K. So we want to start in K, so I'm going to make that my arrow. Okay, and then I want to move to M. Okay, Okay, so my endpoint's going to be at M. Okay, and now I want to count how many spaces to get to my K, my start point, to M, my finish point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I'm counting each letter that I get to till I get to my endpoint. So it was 6 letters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces to the right. So I'm going to take my original number, which was 2. Doesn't have a decimal place. It doesn't have a decimal place. Put it in the rear. And I want to move 6 spaces to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And none of these spaces have numbers in it, so all of them now need zeros. 0. So I need to add 6 zeros. Okay. So now that is 2 million. Okay, so 2 kilograms equals 2 million. So it's got 6 zeros behind it. That's how I know it's 2 million, because every time I have 3 zeros, I change to a new number, to thousands, millions, and billions. Okay, so 2 million. Don't forget my units, milligrams. Okay, and there's my final answer. Okay, so there it is. 2 kilograms equals 2 million milligrams. So the next video is about significant digits, and I'll make that into a separate video.